This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Tom, I want to start with what Rudy just said about Sam Pittman. We've taken calls this morning, people angry about how he doesn't seem scared enough that he could lose his job. I wonder, from your vantage point perspective that sees him every week, what is he supposed to say when asked about his job security that would give fans validation that he's trying to get this fixed?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Yeah, I think Rudy was on it. There really isn't, like, I don't know what they expect him to say. Like, man, I know it. If I don't win on Saturday, I'm done.
Yeah.
No. And here's the thing. I think he can honestly answer the question that I asked him, which was, do you feel like you're coaching for your job? Well, I guess it's the question, are you fearful for your job? And he can say, no, I'm not worried, because if they fire him, he's going to get a lot of pay and buyout money. And in the back of his mind, living on Lake Hamilton with Jamie is a comfortable thing. And so I know that they're trying everything they can do. It's just been a bad deal. And so it's not like I think he's packing it in or anything like that. I think they're trying to get these things fixed and try to beat FIU, and then try to throw all your eggs into the basket, everything you got, to try to beat Missouri at the very end. It doesn't look, it looks like a daunting task right now, but, games can take on different weird momentum things. And I would say right now they have an outside shot at beating Missouri. But for starters, I don't think he can survive. If they lose to Florida International, I don't think he'll survive that.
No, he's gone. There's no question. Hunter Yurchek would be forced into a situation where there's no way that you could keep him at that point. Period. End of story. It's just it. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't want it to end this way for Sam, but that's the reality of the situation.
And Tom, you hear this, you feel this, you're in all these press conferences. Sam is so likable, and everybody nice. All the sentences, all the adjectives. Hey, Sam's a nice guy. But then they're complaining about whatever it is with a football team. And I think that's the other thing. Sam's done nothing that, he needs to be embarrassed or be shamed. But with the way his dismissal, I think there's probably a real desire from Hunter Yurchek, whether it's now or a year from now or 5 years from now, you want to handle it with some grace, because I think Sam's earned that.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's what I told several folks yesterday, including Bob and, a few other guys on the beat. I said, no matter how this ends, you can't do like, the Zach Arnett deal on Sunday. I don't know exactly how it was handled, but just bam, it happened. No, Sam's earned that. The level of respect he brought to the program in game one against Georgia here, when they led at halftime against a powerhouse team, and then the second season, 9-4, has earned him. Like, he brought a level of respectability. He let people puff their chest out. All those things he said in 21 still apply, and he is a good guy. And I think that might be one of the things with this team, and he mentioned it over the course of the offseason, was he doesn't want to let anybody down. He's trying not to disappoint anybody or make anybody mad, and that may be one of the things that's gone against him a little bit in the locker room this year.
Yeah, and, and I'm not in the camp that I'm convinced his time is ending now. It may end up that way, but I'm not convinced he's not back for another year. But I hope they can find, a soft landing so that he can stay engaged with the university, be an ambassador in some respect, even if he doesn't work there. But where because Arkansas has not ended their relationships well with the past few coaches, and it took a long time for Houston Nutt's relationship with the school and the fan base to get repaired. I mean, you got to go back a long time till you ended things on a good note with a coach here at the university.
Yep, these are good points, and I think Wally wrote about it in his column today. Is like this is a trend at Arkansas. Every coach since Frank Broyles has been forced out, or fired, or forced to resign, or something. And here's the thing: Sam Pittman's pride in Arkansas, it runs deep. You know that, and I know the fans are really, really upset. But think about this. He wants to retire in Arkansas. He wants to retire in the central part of the state on a beautiful lake. and he wants to be able to go to the restaurants around there and have people look at him with respect and all that kind of stuff. And so he hasn't embarrassed the program, and I think the reciprocal of that is the program does right by him. And so who knows how this is going to turn out. I think if they handle the FIU and they defeat Missouri in any kind of fashion, he's going to survive this, and why not? There's so many factors that you have to take into consideration. The average fan. B, the fans who are paying a lot of money. The power brokers at the school. What it means to your recruiting class. What it means to your current players and staff. And so many factors to consider.
Getting some good insight from Tom Murphy on the McCarty Daniel Hotline. He's with Whole Hog Sports and the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Tom, I know you have access through the Freedom of Information Act to the Arkansas Finance, but not the Razorback Foundation because it's private. What do you think the finances are like over there right now, and how do you think that could play a role with keeping or letting go Sam Pittman?
Well, that's a great question, and I don't know. Obviously you're right. We don't see their records, but here's the thing. I know, like even during the losing streak, the 6-game losing streak, I know that Hunter Yurachek did not want to make a change. And they've been competitive in all those losses until last week, and now that's why everyone's so fired up. I think they would prefer not to have to do that because, financially, what it cost for him, which is roughly $16 million, and then the rest of the staff, and then you're hiring a new staff. So, but circumstances could dictate that they do that, and then I'm sure that people with money and power and influence will step up and, help make that happen. So I don't know ultimately if finances are going to dictate the decision, but they certainly play a role.
Now, in the finance aspect, it's seemingly Texas A&M has an unlimited money supply. Mississippi State, not so much. But when you're Hunter Yurachek and you're also evaluating this situation, how much does current SEC schools that have openings determine what you do with your football program moving forward?
Yeah, I would think that's a component in the calculus in his mind. I don't know if it would be a high one, but yeah, could you be in the market for similar coaches if that's the case? Possibly so. Yep, he's got to take that into consideration and how quickly you move, because now, guys, I covered a coaching search at Alabama, and the one that led to Nick Saban, that went from right around Thanksgiving when Mike Shula was fired to the almost hiring Rich Rod on the first week of December, around December the 8th, to hiring Nick Saban in January. It was like a 5 to 6 week search that was unbelievably difficult to do. You can't do that now because of the early signing period. I mean, you got to have a coach ready to go within about a week or so. And that's why A&M's is going to be interesting, because would they be interested in a coach who's currently doing very well, whose team will be playing in a major bowl? I don't know the answer to that. And so there's a whole lot to consider, including who else is hiring coaches in your division.
Yeah, and let's be honest. If Michigan has an opening, and there's potential for that, A&M we know has an opening, you're probably not competing for the same list of names those guys. I know that will be talked about, and everyone that calls into our show and has an opinion, but the reality is they're probably searching at a different level. You are competing with Mississippi State, and if there are other openings in the mid to bottom half of this league, that certainly changes the calculus, I think, for Hunter Yurachek. I think Florida could still possibly be a place with the way things have went for Billy Napier. So, I mean, you got to look at the global landscape and what the marketplace is going to be, or you could find yourself, with hat in hand and no takers, much like the perception of your last search.
Yep, that's true. And I mean, there's some up and comers. I mean, people talk about Jamie Chadwell and Kurt Cignetti, who's done really well at James Madison, and I mean, there's some interesting names all around. And the Florida question is one that, I mean, they've been competitive like Arkansas in some games. They've beaten Tennessee, but they lost at home to Arkansas. I mean, that's a head scratcher for them. So they might be in the market as well.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Bet Online, where the game starts.